Just a quick one I wanted to show you before I start anything. Look at the size of these hydrangeas. I can't get over there, but look at them. They're huge. They're like the size of my head. It's such a shame they're blocked by the Portaloo. Oh well. Next year, there's always next year. So I am here on my own this week because Miles is at the F1 and he's not back till this evening and I need to film this today. So I'm going to do the quick walk around and we have had a lot of exciting progress this week. Let's let that car go past. But yeah, currently the front of the house looks like this. So we've got this all boarded up, but that's just leaning there. I don't think that's actually doing anything. It's just there. I'm not sure why this bin is here. And the wind just blew some crap into my eye. So yeah, the front door is off. By the time this goes out, it'll be back on again, but they've put like a lock here. Like if someone wanted to break in, they could, but whatever. All right, let's get inside. Can I do this one-handed is the question. Yes, I can. Oh, gotta get off one-handed, here it is. Right, okay. Let's just leave that on there. All right, so the exciting news is that the screed is down. Woo! So we now have concrete floors. Isn't that so exciting? I'm just gonna get the back door open. Like we're at proper height now. This is wild. I feel like we're in a swimming pool. I'll show you guys. Oh my God. Whoa. Bit windy. That proper just slammed open. I might just block that. This is quite hard to do. Film the vlog and do all this stuff when you're on your own. And the door shut behind me. Okay. There you go, safe and sound, all open. I'm going to start off out here and I'm going to talk you through what we're doing. So we had the underfloor heating put down last week, which looked incredible, but now it's all covered up. But you can see all the way through, the floor's like shiny. Look how weird that is. Everything's back up at a normal level. When I step up, it's at the right level. So that is pretty wild. Oh, the door is going again. But yeah, we're now in here and it's now looking amazing. It's weird doing this without Miles. I can't take the piss out of him. But let's go have a look upstairs and see if any more plumbing stuff has happened. Oh, look in here. It's so shiny. Isn't that amazing? It smells kind of weird. But yeah, our front door isn't on right now because they need to screed up to the bottom of it. And they're going to cut the bottom of the door off. And I guess then there'll be a step. There's a bit of wood there. So maybe they'll make this step like taller. Don't know, I'll ask them next week. Everything was all systems go for the screed really. So I think that's all that's happened. And they've done quite a lot in the loft, which isn't very visible. Should I show you the loft? I've never actually gone up there. I've stepped on this ladder though, so don't mind doing that. Let's one-handed again, on my own. Not very safe. I swear I just heard something. Oh my God, here's the front door. That scared the life out of me. I don't think I can do this today. I'm going to go outside and talk about something else because that scared the crap out of me. As I'm about to go up into the loft and do something kind of scary, a massive door shuts downstairs, so let's block that open, shall we, so it doesn't freak me out again. Every other time I've been here, I do this, and I put this old thing in front of it to stop that from happening. Not today when I'm on my own though, clearly. Bloody terrifying. Okay, right. I don't know how to sit. I thought this might be a bit cuter than it is. I kind of just wanted to have a little chat. So everything is actually starting to tick up again, and I'm kind of going to use this as a bit of a therapy session. I'm much happier than I was, but if you've been watching every vlog, you may have realised that in I think it must have been May, not much was happening at the house and it was getting a bit frustrating, but also just depressing because you want things to move forward, especially when you try and make content about it because you're really aware of how little has happened. I feel if we were just living our lives, doing normal things and not paying as much attention, it wouldn't have been as hard to deal with. And woe is me, we've got this ridiculous, look at this is insane. But it is difficult to carry on staying positive and being peppy about everything. Obviously, we're now making progress and it is so exciting. So just wanted to say, it's not all up. You do end up with down times, and obviously it's not the builder's fault that they were busy elsewhere. Like, projects overrun, things happen. Like, I am a project manager by trade, I get it. So it was just one of those things. But excitingly, there is something that's happened this week which isn't visual, which is why I forgot about it, but the scaffolding got taken down. So this was a whole hoo-ha. So our scaffolding was actually in our neighbour's garden on their new patio, which was a bit of a nightmare, really. We didn't want to have to do it, but because of all of the roofing work we needed to do and taking out the chimney that's just here, we had to have scaffolding on that side. And we do own about this much land over there. So we have a right to, kind of, but like obviously they need to agree, and we want to make sure that they're happy and make sure that they're all good. We did get the fence replaced because they asked to, and we would have done it at some point anyway. So like we're trying to like keep them sweet and make sure that everyone's happy. Like, we're neighbours, we want to make sure everyone is having a good time. But the scaffolding, I didn't think it was ever only going to be a month, but they were speaking directly with the builder, and apparently that's what he said. So they had it in their head that it was only going to be a month that the scaffolding was up, and it's ended up being up for 3 months, which I can totally understand that is ridiculous. And we said that we promised it'd be down by the end of June. And that was giving like maybe 3 or 4 days buffer. And then it ended up getting to the end of June. The last day of June was on the Monday. And that was the final day that I was like, right, we need to do it. It didn't happen, and we were distraught. We were like, no, we really want to keep them happy. And if I was them, I would be livid. So we went down there with like a little gift basket of like some wine and some shortbread, I think, and then some flowers to be like, we're really sorry. And they were fine. They were totally fine with it. But then the next promised date was the Wednesday, which was the 2nd of July. So that was this week. And then I got a message from the builder saying that it was all booked in, and then the next day the scaffolding van broke down or something. Like, something went wrong on the scaffolder's end that was like completely out of their control. And I was just like, we can't do this. And I was just like, look, can we do anything to like maybe just take their side down? Can we store it in the garden? Because it was, the problem was taking it away, not getting it down. And in the end, the builder pulled it off, and fair play to him, and it all got taken down on Wednesday, and we were like, yes! However, their brand new patio that they literally got laid like after our fence got done, so within the last sort of 6 months, I would say, it's all a bit dirty and stained, and I'm like, oh no, I really hope that it can be cleaned off. They're porcelain tiles. I'm not going to put a photo in because it's not our property, but it's not too bad. It's where the plywood boards were down, that we put those down to protect their patio, and then now they're the things that have marked it. But then what if they dropped something and they smashed a tile? There's no coming back from that. So we've offered that if they need to pay someone to clean it, we'll help them with that, and hopefully that will be the end of it. But Jesus, get a house that's just got access on both sides and you won't have this problem. But I mean, again, first world problems, they're very lovely. We got through it and it was all fine. But that was quite a stress that was lifted, and we were so buzzing about that. Otherwise, behind the scenes, I'm working on trying to figure out appliances. So hopefully we can get that locked in the next week or so. The kitchen company need it locked in by, I think, the 14th. And today is the 5th or 6th. I can't remember if my watch is right or not. So I need to get that locked in this week, really, and then I can give them that. Of my research, I've realised that we're having an oven and microwave stack, hopefully double oven, and the microwave can be both, but they're fairly standard sizes, so hopefully we can change that out if we need to. And the dishwasher is pretty much the same. However, the hob and the fridge vary massively. The whole time we've known what hob we wanted, so I think that one's locked in, but the fridge, I'm a bit more like, oh, what can we get? What can we do? So I'm trying to get that locked in next week, and then that will be fine because they've got to build all the stuff around the fridge, right? But yeah, that was a learning curve. I didn't realise I needed to do that yet. In my mind, I'm trying to work out the critical path. Project managers out there will understand what I mean. So the critical path is basically like the critical path. It's the bits that are blocking other bits. So for example, for the screed to go down, that was blocking building the wall for the downstairs loo, because you can't build the wall without the floor yet. So to build the bathroom, this is on the critical path, and it's down now, so hopefully that'll happen soon. But that's what I'm thinking about constantly, and also priorities of like what bits I need to get done next. And the kitchen appliances were not something that was high up on my list, so that's sort of rejigged everything. I know I need to get like plug sockets and stuff sorted as well, choosing those, because I don't want like just the really cheapo ones, but like, how fancy do you go? There's a lot of plug sockets in this house, and like light switches and all this sort of stuff. But I feel, if anything, I don't really want to scrimp on that. But has anyone got any opinions on that? Because maybe there's like a middle ground that isn't like really cheapo, just plastic white stuff, but then also not like the snaz pants stuff. I don't know. I'm not bothered about things being like branded and crazy, but I want it to be good quality. We're going to touch them every day. Like the door handles that we end up getting one day, I've got no idea when that's happening. I want them to either be vintage, but I want them to work well. You know, I want it to be good, but I don't need to break the bank for it if it's not necessary. But I'm happy to splurge on it if it is necessary. Does that make sense? I don't know. But yeah, that was my week of turning things around. It's all a bit crazy. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm sure. We're lucky enough to have flexibility in our life. So I can come here and speak to the builders tomorrow morning, for example. I'm doing that. If I had my job from last year, I would never be able to just be like, oh yeah, I can be there for an hour and a half, 2 hours on Monday morning to talk to you about stuff. And so many things must get missed if I'm not around to help them with that sort of stuff. So people out there who are doing this with full-time jobs, like fair play to you. I cannot comprehend it. Do you know what I've just remembered? There was a huge thing that happened this week. So me, Dot and Heather, who I think I put Dot on the vlog before. I don't know if Heather's been on the vlog. Has she? She was in the B&Q event. I'm going to stop waffling. We're starting a podcast. So this is so exciting. And for the backstory of this, for people who are interested, Miles's business is a video production agency. They actually did e-learning content and stuff. So nothing that exciting, but that's what I work with him on. I'm like project manager for that. Him and Frank, who's like one of his best friends and business partner, have always wanted to do podcasts. Frank used to work on a podcast called Cycling GK. No, the podcast wasn't called Cycling GK. I think it was called Fozcast. It's Ben Foster's podcast. He actually, big story on this. I don't know if Frank will let me tell this, so I'm going to have to cut it out otherwise. But he reached out to Ben Foster when he first started doing his YouTube channel. So quite apt of me talking here on YouTube. Ben Foster's a Watford football player. He's a goalkeeper, I think. He reached out to him being like, mate, your content's amazing, but the editing's not great. Can I help you? Because he loves YouTube. He used to be a bit of a YouTuber himself. Like, you know, he wanted to get involved and he loves football. They're all obsessed with football, these boys. And Ben came back like, yeah, that would be brilliant. And they ended up working together a lot over the next 1.5 to 2 years. And in that time, Ben wanted to start a podcast, so Frank helped them with that, and they actually flew out to LA and got a Spotify deal together, and I think he said that he did like 100 episodes with them or more. It was a lot of episodes that he did with him, so he's got good experience on the podcast stuff. Anyway, back to us, more importantly. The boys were like, right, we want to start a podcast studio, and we're like, cool, that'd be amazing. Like, I love designing sets and doing things like that, so like that's my forte and I can help plan things. But they were looking for people to do podcasts to begin with. And my friend Dot, who's been on the vlog, at the Faffing Nest on Instagram, if anyone wants to follow her, she has always said she wanted to do a podcast, but it was like on her own, like interview other home accounts, interview other people in the industry, that kind of vibe. So I was like, how about Dot? She lives locally to us. Perfect. Get it rolling, see what happens. She's got a following already, like give that a go. And we went through the motions with that for a few days, and she was up for it and all that. And then Miles was like, hang on. Why don't you, Dot and Heather, do it? Bear in mind, Heather is built in pink, Dot is the Faffing Nest, we're Kingscrofthome, we all live locally, and we're genuinely friends. We've met on the internet, but we meet up all the time, always chatting, can't shut us up, to be honest. And Miles's idea was like, why don't we all do it? I don't know how I've ended up on a bloody podcast, but I'm not complaining, it's going to be really fun, but like baffling to me. So yeah, we went down that road. There's like voice note after voice note of all of us talking in the group chat about this because it's just so exciting. And that was only like, I'll look up the receipts, but I think it was about 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And in that time, Frank and Miles have absolutely smashed it. I mean, love you, Miles, but I would say Frank especially, getting like the photo shoot sorted, getting the set sorted, like thinking of all the ideas. We're filming the first episode tomorrow, so that's like really exciting. But yeah, so that's our new life update and the background of like why we're starting this podcast. I haven't even told you what the podcast is. So the podcast is called Ask the Boss. And last week I did leave a little nugget in because we actually did the photo shoot in this house and we painted in that front room. And the stickers that we peeled off of the canvas that we did for the promo video are on that wall, and I had it in the background. No one guessed it, but I don't get that many views, so it's unsurprising. So Ask the Boss. This stemmed from, right, so me, Dot and Heather have a group chat called Grapes and Grout, which I think Dot just came up with randomly. So grapes as in wine and grout as in tiling grout, right? So like funny, G&G, all this. That was the original name for the podcast. But number one, Heather does drink, but not very much. And two, other people we told about that name aren't really like sure of what it means until we explain it to them. So we were like, okay. But we went down that road anyway. The boys did loads of branding for it. Obviously, I'm seeing behind the scenes more than the other girls are, so it's a bit weird. I'm like in the middle. So we had a meeting, the five of us. So Miles, Frank, me, Dot and Heather, all at the pub, chatting away about this podcast. And Miles was talking about, with Heather actually, I think, about how when he's here at the house and the builders are here, they'll talk to him about stuff. And he's like, I've got no idea, ask the boss, as in me, because he's just not that involved in the day-to-day of everything on this project. Like, he has an opinion, he likes what's going on, he pays for it, but he's not that involved. Oh my God, there's a butterfly in here. Wow. I don't know, you'll probably be able to see that. Oh my God, what the fuck? Where'd it go? Oh wow, okay, it's now gone. All right, yeah, sorry, back to that. So ask Voss, Miles says it all the time. He's like, I don't know, ask Meg. Like, Meg's the one who knows what's going on. And a lot of our conversations between the three girls is Heather is in her pink overalls. She is fully on the ground, like ripping things out. I did some work over at Dot's house with them both, and both Dot and Heather are like absolutely incredible. They're like so handy in smashing things and getting things done. But when she goes into like a homeware store, in her overalls, covered in cork, like buying materials, they'll say to her boyfriend like, oh, are you helping him out? Oh, are you helping your parents decorate? Oh, are you doing this? No one ever believes that we're the ones running the project. And Dot has a similar thing. Her husband definitely helps, but he's not like as involved in it. It's definitely her thing. And then here, I'm not doing the DIY yet. I will do on the top level, but I'm running the project in terms of the builders, and no one ever thinks that. And we often get tradies come around to any of our projects. And I mean, I don't know if Heather really has had this, but me and Dot definitely have, where a tradie will be quoting for something, say, and they come round and I'm the one who has booked them. I'm the one who's asking all the questions and telling them what's going on, but Miles is stood there and they will only look at him. And it is so soul destroying when you're the one who's running the project, because you're like, hang on, wait, I don't know. And Miles doesn't know. He's not the one who has the qualifications. He's not the one who has the like know-how about what any of this is doing or has really an opinion on it. It's my thing, and that's fine. And in other households, it will be the other way around, and that's not a problem either. But they always assume it's him, and even after we correct them and go, oh no, Meg's the one who knows, they still only look at him, and it's just such a thing that happens, I think, across the board. And it's such a shame. We never hire tradies if they do that. They're happy to talk to Miles and me, that's not a problem. It's often they won't even acknowledge me, even though I'm the one asking all the questions and booked them. So yeah, that's the premise. And also just chatting about stuff and life and home reno things to begin with. From there, and our experience with all of that, we'll hopefully have some guests one day, and yeah, we shall see. But that is the big exciting news of the week, which doesn't really show in here, but I'll show you the stickers on the wall properly now and put in a little clip of the trailer. Okay, right, ready? I'm Meg.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dot.
We're three friends who met through doing what most people think we could not do.
Taking on big, messy and chaotic house renovations. Yes, all by ourselves.
No, we're not helping someone. We're doing the project and we're proving it online.
This is Ask the Boss, the brand new podcast where we talk about what it's really like renovating a house.
Without the jargon.
Or the mansplaining.
So if you're buying a property, thinking about starting a renovation, or just appreciate us girls getting shit done, this one's for you.
We'll be live on all platforms on July the 20th.
So make sure you follow to get notified and not miss a thing.
All right, so it's very dark in here because of those like big boards on the window, but this is it. So this is the like inverse. Oh, it's very echoey in here now. It really wasn't before. This is so weird. Really, really appreciate it if you could subscribe if you're interested. It makes a really big difference to us. Really, really, really. I always say really. And if you don't want to watch it on YouTube, although you are on here watching YouTube, so I imagine you're a YouTube kind of person, so maybe you do want to watch it with the visuals. We are going to be, what did Frank call it? A video first podcast. So it looks good. He's very good at what he does. But if not, we're on Spotify, we're on all the other platforms. So go and check us out. Please like follow or subscribe or whatever it is. Obviously you can tell I'm new to this. I don't understand how any of this works. But yeah, it's such an exciting time for us and we're really hoping that it can take off. I can't believe that buying this ridiculous house has ended me up here doing a podcast with two girls that I would have never met otherwise. So I'm going to end the vlog there. Miles isn't here to do his little like, comment, subscribe thing, so I'm going to say it. Like, comment, subscribe, and ding the bell or whatever he does and bashes this thing. See you next week. Bye.